Most unexplained deaths don't happen in dark alleys. They don't happen during storms. They don't happen when something feels wrong. They happen on normal nights. Statistically, over 60% of unresolved death cases begin with one sentence in a police report. Nothing appeared unusual. No forced entry, no witnesses, no signs of struggle. Just a person who went to sleep and didn't wake up. Tonight's story begins on a night that had no warnings, no emergency calls, and no visible danger. A night that followed a routine so ordinary that investigators almost missed what mattered most. And yet, years later, this case remains open. No suspect, no confirmed cause, no explanation that fully holds. This is not a story about what we know. It's a story about what doesn't fit. Welcome to The Missing Clue. Remember to smash the subscribe button in order to see more video like this. Tonight, we examine a real cold case, an unexplained death, and a timeline that looks simple until you slow it down. This is a normal night in 2026 that still has no explanation. The day began like any other. No recorded arguments, no unusual purchases, no distress calls. The victim, whose name we'll use only as Case Subject A, followed a routine that friends later described as predictable. Morning work, short phone calls, a brief stop at a local store. Nothing in the digital footprint suggested fear or urgency. Phone data showed regular activity. Messages ended normally. No unfinished drafts. Investigators would later say this was one of the most frustrating aspects of the case. Because in many deaths, something changes near the end. A call, a message, a break in pattern. Here, there was none. The night of the incident was calm. Weather reports show no storms, no power outages, no emergency activity nearby. Security cameras from surrounding areas captured nothing unusual. At approximately 10:43 p.m., Case Subject A entered the residence. No one followed. No one left afterward. At 11:16 p.m., phone activity stopped. This was not uncommon. Friends confirmed the victim often disconnected early. But here's where the timeline becomes difficult. Because from that moment forward, nothing moves. No steps, no calls, no alerts, until the next morning. The body was discovered the following morning. The position was not immediately alarming. No signs of forced entry, no overturned furniture, no visible injuries consistent with violence. Emergency responders initially suspected a natural cause, but several details delayed closure. Time of death could not be precisely determined. No medical history explained the condition, and certain physical markers did not align with expectations. The medical examiner requested further testing. That decision changed everything. Autopsy results ruled out several common causes. No confirmed overdose, no traumatic injury, no clear cardiac event. Toxicology returned inconclusive, not negative, not positive, inconclusive. This meant substances were present, but not at levels traditionally associated with death. The official cause was listed as undetermined, and with that classification, the case slowed. No criminal charge could be filed, no direct direction to pursue. The file entered storage, a cold case, not because it lacked attention, but because it lacked answers. When investigators revisited the case years later, several elements stood out. First, the timing. Based on lividity and temperature, death may have occurred earlier than originally believed. Second, the environment. Objects were moved slightly, not enough to suggest struggle, enough to suggest activity. Third, the silence. No neighbors heard anything, no sensors triggered. No digital trail after 11:16 p.m. For a modern case, that absence is unusual. It suggests either complete isolation or something that went unnoticed. Several theories were considered. Accidental interaction with an unknown substance, undiagnosed medical condition, external involvement without forced entry. Each theory explains part of the evidence. None explain all of it. And that is why this case remains open, because when one detail refuses to fit, it forces investigators to question the whole picture. Cases like this rarely make headlines. They don't end with arrests. They don't offer closure. But they matter, because they remind us that uncertainty exists, even in familiar places. A normal night does not guarantee a normal outcome, and sometimes the most important clue is the one that never appears. If you believe unanswered cases deserve attention, you're in the right place. This has been The Missing Clue.